Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and this is part 2 of our 3-part series interviewing some game developers at PAX East, which just wrapped up in Boston. You're about to hear from Bickham, who is with Creative Assembly, and they're the folks behind Total War Warhammer, a new AAA title that is coming out very shortly. So our previous interview was with an independent developer. Al is with a big studio developer that's getting their game published by Sega. So let's hear what his perspectives on the industry are.
Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're here at PAX East in the Sega booth. I'm here with Bickham, and he's got a new game coming out, and we've been talking to a lot of independent developers, so now we're going to talk to a larger studio just to kind of get a feel for what it's like in the game industry right now. So what do you have coming out?
So we're working on Total War Warhammer, which is, Total War series is a long-running, we've been going for about 16, 17 years now, making massive grand strategy games based in various periods in history. Now we've come together with Games Workshop a few years ago. We signed a contract with them to work on a Total War game based in the world of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which is, as you may know, a massive, 30-year-old phenomenon of tabletop gaming. It's a fantasy world where players come together and they build and paint little armies of miniatures and do battle on the tabletop. And it's just an awesome fit for Total War because the systems just go together so beautifully. So now we're making, rather than previously we've made loads of historically based strategy games, we're making one based in the Warhammer world. So it's all the good stuff that people like about the Total War games with magicians and monsters and flying creatures and that crazy fantasy backdrop that Warhammer brings. So it's really exciting. The stand's full, everyone's playing and having a great time. So
yeah, watching people come in, there's a line out the door for this thing. And it's amazing too, just looking at it, how cool it looks, and how big of a team does it take to make a game like this?
I think on the Total War team, so as a studio, there's around 420 of us now. We've got a bunch of teams. We've got a console team also working on Halo Wars 2 right now, and yeah, we've got a mobile team. We've got a team working on Total War Arena, which is like a 10v10 multiplayer head-to-head battle game based on the Total War battle system, but only much kind of lightweight and fast-paced. But for something like Total War Warhammer, I think there's about 150 of us, 160 of us, been working for the last three and a half years on it. So we're out May 24th. So yeah, it's been a big undertaking.
It must be exciting to finally get to the end after 3 years of development to have it finally ready to ship.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really nice to be able to come to shows like this as well, ask people what they think of it when they've been playing it, and see what their kind of opinion is of how the system has changed since the last game and things like that. So yeah, it's great to be able to come out here and actually see your game out in the wild being played by people and see and hear their experiences about it.
To watch their faces, I'm sure, is really
totally. Yeah.
Now, tell me about just 3 years of development time is a long time. Hardware changes a lot. How do you determine how to target the hardware when you get to the end of the process?
So it does change. It doesn't change as much as you might think. It's we know that you start a project, that in 3 years' time you're going to have more powerful graphics cards, you're going to have faster processors, probably faster memory as well. All that stuff will improve and change over time. And the game evolves as you're developing it. You at the outset you have a bunch of things you want to do, right? So you go, actually, we didn't really like our particle system from the previous game, so we're going to do a new implementation of that. So we take that out of the engine and we build a new system that generates particles, in a more visually attractive way, or a more effective way, or a less resource-heavy way. For example, there's a number of reasons why you might change your features as you develop a game. And then during development we see what's coming up ahead and we start supporting it. So it's just a case of evolving the engine as you develop the product. So and then taking advantage of new platforms as they come along. So.
And the good thing, it seems like there's a lot of synergy now of platforms that they tend to run on similar chips. It's a little bit easier to port, right?
Yeah, very much. Because we don't have to port to console, for example, because we're PC only. So the plan is to have Linux and Mac versions later on as well. But at launch we'll just be PC. But one of the big jobs we have to do is compat testing, which is compatibility testing, which is we have a compat team that tests the game with every graphics card going, every processor going, and various combinations of those, and different memory sizes and all that. And it's a big job, right? Because if the game's got to run, if you've got like a console, everybody has the same console, and everybody gets pushed exactly the same operating system updates, everybody's machines are the same. With PCs, you know, there's just so many millions of configurations of hardware and software out there, different operating systems, different versions of Windows, different graphics cards, different memories, processors, you know. So
very challenging.
it is challenging, yeah, and we just have to keep testing. We just have to keep testing and making sure we haven't got any problems on specific graphics cards and things like that. So, yeah, if our Compact team is at home watching right now, I'd say hats off, guys, you're doing a great job, so, you know.
If it doesn't work, you're going to hear about it. So how important is the gaming community, YouTube and Twitch and everything else to game development now?
Vastly important, because that's our audience, you know. They're the guys who are going to be playing. They represent, you know, the many more millions of people who actually play the games, right? And they listen to what their readers are saying. So they're very important to us. And we work with a lot of guys in the run-up to launch. Not simply, not simply because we want to just promote the game, but also because we get an incredible level of community feedback, you know, and the developers can use that. Developers can look at that and go, okay, we're moving the right direction with this. Maybe we need to nudge things over here a little bit. So you know, it's really, really useful for the overall development of the game to get community feedback, and it's often, you know, YouTubers and the community themselves. I mean, we chat to the Total War subreddit. We've got our own forums. There's various other Total War websites out there with big active forums of people who are very passionate about the game and very interested and want to know the details. So we've got a large community team, and those guys get in there and we chat, and we give information where we can. Sometimes we can't give information, you know, on forums because it's like it might not be decided yet, or it's still in development. We don't quite know how that piece is going to come out. So, you know, we might not know that for 6 months. So there's certain things that we wouldn't talk about. So, and then by the end, you know, by this point, we're quite close to launch. So we're talking. We're showing a lot of the game. We're talking a lot about the game at the moment. But yeah, we're quite active in the community scene as a developer, I think.
I guess after it comes out, you're just as busy now monitoring the community, making sure there's things that need to get fixed or whatever has to happen. So I would imagine the post-release is as intense as the run-up to the pre-release.
Every bit as intense, yeah. Because you do a hell of a lot of testing before launch with a hell of a lot of people, with numerous QA departments and things like that. But you put your game out into the wild, and then suddenly you've got way more people than you could ever employ to actually test it. So, you know, it's great because we get instant feedback. We get instant feedback about what people think about the game as well. So, you know, but yeah, it's always a big day, launch day. It's always a big day. It's like.
Now, so the game is out May 24th?
May 24th, yeah.
And where can people find it?
In stores, in stores on the high street, in malls. On various online retailers as well. So all the usual suspects you go to buy a PC game, people like Steam. So yeah, pretty much everywhere.
Get your downloads ready. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, no worries. You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters, including gold level supporter Shabib. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.